Hey, what's going on? This is Ron with MenchacaChannel. Inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles is what we do. In this video, we're going to be talking about grace. The question is, do you have any grace? Man, we're going to talk about that because I'm ready. You're ready. Let's do this thing. So is it possible that you can find grace, not only for yourself, but for others? Man, in the busyness of life, we get so busy doing things left and right, inside and out, and guess what? We don't have grace on ourselves, and we just work and work and work, and we don't spend as much time as we should with the family. We don't spend as much time as we should with those who care about us. And it's just sometimes we need to give a second thought to what we're doing. And that's not always easy. So if you have a little grace, that means you're willing to slow your roll and you're able to analyze a situation and give people grace. Give yourself grace. Man, because it's gonna help you in the end. So for the next couple of minutes, let me share a little story with you. Yeah, it's story time. So there was this king that ruled the land. And he had terrible dogs, man. He had a pack of dogs that were terrible, and anybody who stepped out of line, they were gonna get thrown to the dogs. So you didn't really want to cross the king. You wanted to stand in line. You didn't want to cross him and get on his bad side, because if you did him wrong, that king will literally throw you to his dogs, and they were vicious. Man, you wouldn't want to be in that situation. Well, it happens to be that one of his servants that he's been with for 10 years, man, he made a mistake. The king was angry, and you know what's coming next. He wanted to throw that servant to the dogs. And the servant pleaded with the king and he said, I just made one mistake. Come on, give me a chance. No one crosses me. I am the king, and you are going to the dogs. The servant continued to plead his case. Listen, I've been serving you for 10 years. Can you do me a favor? Can you just give me 10 days? Give me 10 days and then you can throw me to the dogs. You can do whatever you want with me. Just honor those 10 days for the 10 years that I've served you. So the servant on day one goes to the keeper of the dogs, who feeds them and bathes them and all that. And he asked him, do you mind for the next 10 days? Can I do what you do? And then the keeper of the dog said, sure, that'll give me some time to do some other things that I want to do. King has me taking care of these vicious dogs, and guess what? It's not something I want to do. So for the next 10 days, this servant fed them, washed them, and was there with them, petting them, and doing all the things that he must do as a keeper of the dogs. So the 10 days arrived very quickly. And sure enough, here comes the king and his minions, and he takes them and he says, now, because you've made this mistake, it's time for you to get thrown to the dogs. Now, it definitely did take long for the king to throw people in there, and they wouldn't survive long because those dogs are vicious and they would go right after them. But not this servant. He was thrown to the dogs, and the dogs looked at this servant and were puzzled, had a puzzled look on their face. Soon enough, he was there petting them, and the dogs lied down at his feet and were licking his feet. And the king turned around to look, and he said, what is going on here? It was then that the servant stood up, walked to the gate, and told the king, you, king, put me in with these dogs, but for the last 10 days, I have been grooming them, feeding them, bathing them, petting them, showing mercy and grace to them. And you, sir, you king, I have served you for 10 years, and I made one mistake, and you showed me no compassion, no grace, nothing. It was then and only then that the king realized how cruel he has been, not only to this servant, but many before him. He immediately released him, and he had him back on his staff, and he said, please forgive me. Here's the thing that I want to talk to you about. Sometimes we get so busy and we get agitated with people who interrupt our busyness. And sometimes we get so busy that it just becomes something that I don't want to deal with. I don't want to do that. How about we have some compassion on people? How about we take the moment to deal with our son and our daughter, to deal with that friend that comes all from a long ways to see you, and instead of treating them harsh and disrespectful, we give them grace. Imagine the people who extended grace to you. Keep that in mind, because as we travel in this life, we can treat people disrespectfully. We think we're doing the right thing, but in reality, we're just cruel people. And we need to have compassion. We need to have grace. We need to have love in our hearts and take the time to listen to people, take the time to grow people and grow together. I know that we go through terrible things in this life at times. You know, even the Bible says, Jesus speaking, in this life, you're going to have trials and tribulations. And here's what most people don't get. They don't get the next thing he said, which is simply be of good cheer, because I've overcome the world. Let me tell you that a lot of the times in the midst of our toil and in our trials and tribulations, we are driven by feelings and emotions. But the moment that you wake up in the morning, instead of getting angry because you got to go to work and, oh my God, I got to make breakfast and I got to do this and that. And no. Get up in the morning with gratitude. Start off your day right. Tell God of the things that you're blessed with. Thank Him for the things that you have right now, because that's going to go a long way. And guess what the fruit of that is? You're going to have grace with others, and you're going to find out that many things are going to go your way. So do what you can to have grace in your life, not only for yourself, but for others as well. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. Don't be like this king, cruel and harsh and just throwing everybody to the dogs. We do that on from time to time, but we can change. We can start to focus on things that matter. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of MenchacaChannel, where inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles is what we do. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and ring that bell so you can get another episode of MenchacaChannel. Hey, do me a favor. Man, have some grace in your life. You can do it. I know you can do it, man. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you to do this. Hey, until next time.